Thank you, Hayden. Again and again and again. Let me make one thing clear. A goddamn helicopter mission in Vietnam is nothing like a goddamn mission over Germany. Please. Thank you.
Well, that was...
Anyhow,
That's okay.
I'm gonna, Terrence inspired me in many ways. So I'm gonna do a little, how do you do? My name is Lou. I'm a poet just like you. I was born in January 1932. Let me do the math for you. 4 years ago, I turned 82. How I got that far, I got no clue. Then I turned 83, had to be sobriety. Then it was 84. I got so much to be grateful for. Then I turned 85, still alive. Now, 86. I still ride my bike to impress the chicks. I'm not a real biker. I don't wear leather. And I only ride in pristine weather. Enough about me. How about you? What do you think about what I just told you? That's one of my favorite lines. I am touched every time I come here. This is really one of the highlights of a very busy month every month. Like Clayton said, last night I didn't know what the hell I was going to do, and lately I've been up to draining the swamp. I'm very busy about many things, and I didn't. So after a long 3 or 4 hours on the phone trying to find some rehab places in Florida for someone I love, I sat down and eat some dinner. I still hadn't any idea what I'd do. I'd reach into a big bag of poems and try to find something normally. So I turned on YouTube, one of my favorite, my new college of life. I'm sure there's some stuff on there that's doubtful, but I get so much information. And on two sides. I don't know if any of you saw me on Facebook last week. I don't remember the cycle I wrote, but it was about us old farts sitting around mocking the young people. Well, if any of you do that, I ask you, I beg of you, the next time you are in one of those groups, 5 minutes later, get your cell phone out, go to YouTube, and check out People Are Awesome. Every time I come across that, I can spend 15 of my cherished minutes watching. These human beings are incredible. Incredible. And 95% of them are young people. It's physical activity, and they do things that are... Anyhow, but on the other side of YouTube, the abyss that Ed talked about. While I was watching dinner, I flipped on one of my favorite things. There's a person that does film. His name is JeremiahFilm.com. And he writes about the Clintons and people like that, and I happened to watch one. I could not go to sleep. As you will see in my poem, I did write this last night. Because we're on YouTube, I'll title it, Just Unbelievable. I have to admit this poem is shit, because I'm too busy to commit. I was really pissed, so I had to do something to be who I am. So I whipped this up last night. It took till 4 a.m. Still talking about injustice, it's all around. There's some people who care and they make loud sounds. But if you're like me, it's sad because the truth is there. It's easily found. I'd like to take a small biopsy into this wonderful into the powerful elite. Like the Clinton body count. I was a Marine, killer, but I can't even compete. Don't be shocked or be in disbelief. The media has covered it up. Even 60 Minutes spread the deceit. The story so foul, almost too sick to be true. But the facts are available to me and to you. But I have taken some time to check on some facts. Vince Foster, a suicide? Ridiculous. We've been had, and And what's the impact? The evidence is there, but the truth tellers were mercilessly attacked. I was shattered to see what Mike in 60 Minutes did to a heroic truth teller, plus distorted the facts. And there was a good neighbor who told the truth about Jennifer Flowers. Beaten and left for dead, 2 broken elbows, ruptured spleen and bladder, ultimate abuse of power. The tip of the iceberg, outrageous. It's all on YouTube. But they don't even worry because we're a nation of fools. So if you give a shit, wonder why Trump's in power, because they found Hillary's cesspool and she finally got fucked like Jennifer Flowers. Check out some of that YouTube. I was up at 7 this morning and I read my J. Krishnamurti and I did a brief little pause and I had a vision and I wrote a haiku this morning. The silent tablet of life is blank brilliance of love. There's no words, no thought. The silent tablet of life is the blank brilliance of love. There's no words, no thought. And finally, I have one thing because of my friend Terrence inspired me with his stuff. I haven't read this in a while, but it brought back a lot of similar feelings I've had. It's entitled, What Will You Die For and Who Will You Kill? When I was young and got out of school, I joined the Marines. They got a real fool. The draft was in, so I had very little choice, living an unexamined life, not voting or using my voice. If anyone at the time asked me why, it was mostly for the money. All I had to do was die. $10,000 life insurance, that was part of the deal. There'd be plenty of money for all of the O'Neills. Well, you can see I was disturbed right from the start. And then to go to boot camp, duck's ass, peg pants, not very smart. So the New York City boy with 3 Southern DIs got instant attention, which is really insane. Sergeant Sutton, Villani, and Maserati. Over 60 years later, I still know their names. What are you here for? Sergeant Sutton screamed in my face. To die for my country. I was sure I was in the right place. Inches from my nose, he screamed even louder. Back screwing assward, you maggot slob. You're to make the enemy die for his country, and that's my job. So right from the start, they instilled in my heart that I was to be a trained killer. I hadn't thought of that part. They broke me down like an M1 rifle to see what was there. I was afraid there would be nothing. That's a terrifying scare. They put me back together and filled me with pride. Hoorah! And Semper Fi with the glue. A lean, mean killing machine. Yeah, right. A little boy with grown-up toys. There is no mystery, just look at history. All men started, but the killing's done by boys. So if you're young and you haven't begun to figure it all out, what will you die for? Who will you kill? Still in doubt? Now I am old and not nearly so bold. I now have to answer why I would want a son or anyone to be a warrior in the sky. The answer is clear when the threat's not near. Only for freedom and human rights will I die. This is fine and all in our mind. These are the principles and thoughts that will get one to fly. But when the shit hits the fan, when you're surrounded by dead, honorable thoughts are buried deep in your mind and put aside in your head. I saw most of my friends die for things not talked about or really mentioned. Many died for their friends or the Marines courageous intentions. So many of the things I saw these boy men do wasn't patriotism, not in my view. But courage abounded, not to be brave or heroic, yet they were the proud, the brave, the few. Some of us old warriors may never have asked, many never will. What did they die for, and who did we kill? There were plenty of buddies, bullets and blood, that was the deal. The past is all over. I'm not really sure, or there's still a Louis O'Neill. Sure, I hate war, not just in my head, but because of the real blood that many of us bled. War is mankind's ultimate insanity, but I also hate cruelty, brutality, and slavery. The politicians and generals will have to be clear if I'm ever to risk my life and leave those I hold dear. Only when our country's policies and visions are about freedom and human rights, then I would again be a warrior, willing to die in a just fight. So what about you? What will you die for?